In today's video, I wanted to answer the question, Carol, why do we name the bad stuff when we're doing tapping? Don't we want to focus on the good stuff and gratitudes? And the answer is yes to both. We want to focus on the bad stuff so we can release it. So in a more controlled environment where I'm going to use tapping or journaling, and I'm going to acknowledge what's really going on inside of me. And then I'm also going to focus on my gratitudes, but I can't do that sometimes if the bad stuff is stronger than the gratitudes. So in today's video, I want to explain with two different concepts. So Irene Lyon has this amazing swimming pool and beach ball analogy that she explains the stress in our body that I want to share with you today, as well as my analogy about the broken arm and how if you have a broken arm and it's painful, you're not going to be grateful for the other arm. So listen up. Let me know how this resonates with you. And that's what I really want to share with you today. So you can get some understanding in your mind of why sometimes it's good to focus on the negative for a short period of time so we can release it, not to get stuck in it, but to release it. So for those who don't know me, my name is Carol Richard. I am the founder of the Sleep Success Academy, where we help sleep-deprived individuals get the sleep they need. We do this by looking at their emotional well-being, their mindset, and their behaviors. And as a holistic approach, then we're able to figure out what each individual needs in order to get their sleep back on track. So if you don't already have a copy of my free guide, go to my website, sleepsuccessacademy.com. And if you scroll down about halfway through on the homepage, you'll see where you can put your name and email address, and a copy of 5 action steps to improve the quality of your sleep will land in your mailbox. And from there, you'll also be subscribed to my email list weekly. Also, while you're at it, don't forget to click subscribe to this channel so you can also get notified that way. All right, so why do we focus on the negative when we're tapping? So it's important to know that we're not focusing on the negative so we can dwell there and stay stuck there. When we tap on the endpoint of our meridians, we're allowing the energy to flow in our body, and it helps us release that stuck energy, which emotions are energy in motion. And emotions like frustration and anger and shame, they're the deeper, lower vibrational emotions. So what happens is they kind of get stuck in our body. I like to see our meridian lines the same as we would see blood vessels, right? So we have these blood vessels that carries the blood all in our body so that our body can function. Well, we have the meridian lines that carries the energy all through our body that helps our body function better. And so when you go to see an acupuncturist, he's putting the needles in these lines and helps move the energy. But we can do the same thing with the end point of those meridians using our fingertips. And so why would we want to say this and name the negative? It's in order to move that energy to release it. So that's one of the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing is I've been following Irene Lyon. She's a nervous system expert. If you haven't checked out any of her YouTube videos, I would suggest you go do that. But she has this analogy where she explains how stress gets stored in our body. She calls it the swimming pool and the beach ball analogy. Now, Zoom has this amazing feature called whiteboard. So I'm going to open up my whiteboard here and draw you a picture of this. And so when we look at a swimming pool, right, so that swimming pool really represents our body. And then she talks about all these beach balls in there. So each beach ball would represent like an event or stress or an emotion or a sensation in our body, like just a stress, right? And so the more stressed we are, the more beach balls there is in the swimming pool. And when we are sleep deprived, we have even more beach balls in there because we can't function. So it kind of squeezes all in. So our capacity to handle life really diminishes when we are sleep deprived, which makes our swimming pool smaller and the beach balls all condense. So I want you to imagine, you have had, say, a car accident, shock trauma that's in there. Say you've had in childhood, you had things like being laughed at on the playground, or your friends kicked you out of the club, or, they're all beach balls that are kind of like stuck in there that we've never processed because a lot of us didn't know how to process our emotions. And then what really gets us is the everyday accumulated stress. So we have other things that we might never have to touch. However, if we have all this accumulated stress the dishes, the laundry, taking the kids to school, the big project at work, that, oh my God, I forgot to sign the permission slip for the kids. The cat got sick yesterday. That, name everyday stress in there. We're creating a lot of beach balls, and a lot of us run through life, go, 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 and we never process any of these small beach balls. And so what we do with tapping, we start tapping and we're naming it, like, I am overwhelmed because I have 20 things to do. So tapping on the overwhelm calms the system, makes our swimming pool even bigger. And so there's more room between the beach balls, and it allows the energy to flow. So this is not what Irene Line teaches, this next part, but I see it as, then in between all the beach balls, there's more room for my life force energy to come out. And so I can be creative and happy and grateful and joyful and all these things. So that's why it's important on a daily basis to really start taking care of ourselves, to pay attention to our stress level, to reduce the amount of beach balls in our pool, reduce the amount of stress in our body, so that we can then do the changes or create the behaviors that we need for better sleep. Because when we have that many beach balls in, no matter what we do, sleep just doesn't seem to come because we're too activated and nervous system is activated. So that's the first analogy I wanted to explain of why we're focusing on the bad stuff, because we want to release it. Second thing is, I had this conversation with my husband a few weeks ago, and he was like, just focus on the positive, all the great things we have. And I was like, yeah, and that's really good. However, on the emotional side and physical side, society tends to have a different opinion. And sometimes that can be hurtful to someone who is emotional or is suffering emotionally in the moment, whether it's real or not, or mind created a story. If I'm feeling sad in this moment and you tell me to be grateful for everything I have, you're not acknowledging my sadness. And that's what hurts, is we're not being heard, we're not being seen, we're not being felt by other people. And as a human being, we need that. When I explained to my husband this broken arm analogy that I came up with, I said, if I broke my arm today and like it was broken one place, two place, whatever, and it was painful, what would you do? You would take me to the hospital so that it could be seen by a doctor, it could be fixed, it could be maneuvered, or do whatever we need for this arm to feel better. We wouldn't just say, well, just be grateful that you only broke one arm and not the other, right? We wouldn't say that. And we wouldn't say, and then you really should be also grateful that you have two legs. We first have to tend to the pain of the broken arm before the gratitude for the other arm that's not broken. And hopefully I broke the left one so that I can use my right arm to write with. But if not, I can maybe learn to write with the left arm. But, you can't be grateful for something when the pain is overwhelming and taking over. And so this broken arm put really big beach balls in my swimming pool, just like the lack of sleep puts a lot of beach balls in our swimming pool. And we have to deal with those one at a time, go get some pain meds, get a cast on, whatever needs to for this arm to heal. And then I can get grateful. And that's why we name the bad, right? We're not naming the bad to dwell on it and to be a victim and to have someone say, oh, poor you. That's not the intention behind naming what's actually going on, is to actually be able to release it, take care of it, have compassion for it. So then we can start feeling grateful for what we actually have. So that's what I wanted to share of why we name the bad stuff when we do tapping. Again, it's my point of view. It's how I see things. I'm just hoping that this will help you maybe embrace tapping more. I know I do it anytime I have a little, emotions show up. I'm like, I'm just going to tap, send the calming signal to my amygdala, to the rest of my nervous system. We're safe right now. We're okay. It is just a bubble from the past that wants to run through. And I sleep well now. And most of my clients who are doing this, they're sleeping better. So that's what I wanted to share today. So enough babbling for today. So again, if you haven't signed up for my free guide, just go to my website. If you need to contact me, send me an email, support@sleepsuccessacademy.com. That is the best place to send me an email with your question. and I will answer any questions. So if you have one, don't hesitate to ask. That's it.